Hey guys, welcome. This is Michelle with Magnolia Grove Homestead. If you are just now finding our channel, I welcome you to tune in usually every Wednesday. Today's Thursday. I had some things going on yesterday, I'm sorry. But usually every Wednesday I come on and I do a garden tour throughout the spring and summer season. And I just take you around the garden, kind of show you how things are growing, how things are producing, what to look for. We go over different pest diseases, management issues, and things like that. So I want to take you along. Today will be a little bit different. I have my kids here, and Mr. Barry wants to join in on the garden tour, so I hope you guys don't mind too much. We will start over here as usual with the green stalk. Tell them what's in here.
We have strawberries right here. They are not fully grown, but...
Do you have any strawberries to pick?
No.
I think you should take a look.
Oh, what the heck? One's fully grown. One's fully grown. We have a fully grown strawberry, everybody. We have a fully grown strawberry.
You gonna taste it?
No, I'm gonna wash it because I don't want to eat it. Disgusting. What? There is 3 more.
I knew he was gonna get excited about that. Strawberries are like one of his favorite things. Hello, Mr. Bumblebee. In the green stalk, we also have our lemon cucumbers, which I didn't think were doing too much, but I did come out yesterday and notice that we have a little baby right here.
No, Mommy,
We have 4?
yeah, we have 4 now.
Awesome. Well, hold on. Let me talk about this. We also have baby lima beans up there, and we have some green beans down here that I need to harvest, hence the root apron. And finally, we have our first ripe tomato from the green stalk. So all of those things are really, really exciting. I'm going to go ahead and harvest these things when we get done. I think that one lemon cucumber is the first one. And some of these vines, they just don't look that great, but I'm not sure why. So I'm going to try to clean up some of the leaves are dying a little bit and stuff like that. So I'll clean up all that stuff when we get done.
I eated a strawberry, Mommy. I eated one.
Was it delicious?
Yep.
Was
A
it-
little bit squishy.
It was squishy?
It did taste good.
How about another one?
I'm going to try the big one.
Try the big one.
Oh, this one's really squishy. That's really squishy.
Well, it looks like it's really ripe. It's probably delicious.
Oh, it's juicing on me. It is juicing on me. That is so disgusting.
Just eat it.
Mmm. It tastes better than the one I just eaten.
Is it good?
It tastes riper.
Riper?
It tastes super ripe.
As you can see over here in the potato bed, we came out, Carly and I, and we harvested our potatoes the other day. And now the okra plants and the corn have room and sunlight, so they'll hopefully start taking off pretty well. Over here in this other green stalk, I've not gotten this stuff emptied out just yet. I have plenty of dill over here. And this basil that I sowed seeds is starting to take off, but nothing too crazy over here in this just yet. Just a bunch of pretty little flowered things. Over here in the greenhouse frame where I kind of tied up the tomatoes that are in buckets, some strange things are happening. For example, the Bosque Blue Bumblebee plant has blossom end rot. So whenever you see the bottoms of your tomatoes kind of rotting like that, that is a sign of blossom end rot. Blossom end rot is a result of low calcium, and considering the fact that these tomatoes are in buckets, so they're not pulling nutrients from the ground, they just have the soil that they are planted in the bucket. That's not very unusual to me. That just means that I need to get out here and fix this soil and give them some calcium.
These are cherry tomatoes. Look at one.
So those are Candyland tomatoes,
What?
Barry.
Oh, this one's fully done.
They're tiny little tomatoes, like a currant size tomato.
This is so small and it's already done.
They are so small.
This one's already done.
Mm-hmm.
I can pick it. Uh-huh.
You gonna eat it?
No, I don't like tomatoes.
Are you sure about that?
I like cherries.
Cherries.
You tell the fans. There is one big plate in there, and it is fully done, and I don't think I should pick it because I got already this.
You dropping the tomatoes, Bubba?
Where do we put this?
I'm gonna put it in the apron. Alright,
Oh,
let
there's a bee in there. It's gonna get a mellow flower. It's inside of a mellow flower. A bee is inside of a mellow flower.
It's inside of a male flower. How do you know it's a male flower?
Because it really is a mellow. Because I know it is.
Alright, let me show you. So if you're looking in your squash plants and you're wondering why maybe all your fruit isn't bearing at the same time, or maybe you have things that kind of dry up and rot, typically that's because they're not getting pollinated evenly. So if you look, if you have a stem that bears a fruit and then a flower, that is a female squash. However, where this is just a stem and a flower, that is a male flower. So when Mr. Bumblebee, who's over there, comes around and climbs in and out of these flowers, he is actually pollinating them. Now, if you have more females and not enough males, or vice versa, typically you'll have a problem with pollination and getting fruit to really germinate. But usually over time, that kind of evens itself out and they all start getting on the same schedule and doing what they need to do. I'm trying to let you guys see these bumblebees that work in here because they are really, really working hard in my squash. I don't want to get stung though if I scare him. Well, there's a squash or two that needs to be harvested, but I'm going to let the bees keep on doing their thing for a little bit, and I'll come back out in a little bit. I don't want to make them mad. They've been working so hard in these squash plants. Over here on the other side of the squash, of course, we have the zucchini, which is the same concept.
Mommy!
What, Barry?
I see more bees on the ground.
That's fine. Do you see those little flowers? They're pollinating those little flowers.
Well, there's a bunch.
Yeah. They're fun. Alright guys, so over here at the zucchini plants, I just seen some more squash bug eggs. So I wanted to show you guys, in case you're not familiar, these are squash bug eggs. And you can deal with them in a number of ways. Right now, since I don't have my roll of duct tape on me, I'm just going to pull this part of the leaf off and let Barry go feed this to the chickens.
But I don't want to feed squash bug eggs to them. The squash bug eggs look so cute.
But they love it. I made an Instagram post the other day about some different things that you can do to try to combat squash bugs in your garden. Here in North Carolina, we're down in the south, we really fight squash bugs a lot. I've tried just about everything I know to try. If you guys have more suggestions, of course, that is wonderful and welcome. It gets to a point where it's just kind of overwhelming. So I posted on my Instagram page yesterday 5 different ways to try to combat squash bugs. When it gets much farther than this point though, where I'm coming out every single day, and every single day I'm getting like 5 different clusters of eggs a day off of my plants, I really know that the squash bugs are on my tail. And I might not see them just yet everywhere, but they're definitely here because they're laying eggs. And so at that point, I am just glad that I have succession sown. more squash and more zucchini in my beds and just hope that they take off and replace these, because like any other pest, squash bugs do have a life cycle. So they come out when the soil heats up, and they stay out when it's really like the heat of summer, and then they start to die off. And so by that point, when they start dying off, hopefully the squash that I have succession sown, and I come out like every week or two and just put a few more seeds in around, hopefully by then I will have enough squash plants that can be healthy and producing fruit toward the beginning of fall, and then that way I'll still have a continuous harvest, even though I'm still trying to combat these dang bugs. Over here behind the zucchini though, y'all, I cannot tell you how amazing this experience in this garden this year has been, because I have really intentionally done a lot of new things that I haven't done in the last 10 years of gardening, and I've tried so many things, and so many things have failed, but then other things have been awesome. So I want to show you real quick these flowers, because I've never planted flowers in my garden before, but this year I did, and I'm glad I did. This is my first ever sunflower plant, and it is getting really, really big. And then down here are all these zinnias. Like that one's opened up. This one. These are my first zinnias ever. And it's the first year that I ever put flowers in my garden. I mean, I always think like food and putting things up for preservation and that. But I never really have thought flowers when I thought about the garden. And then look, I sowed more, and these little seedlings are starting to pop up. They need to be watered because it is hot. But I don't want to overwater because we had a ton of rain yesterday. All this in here, all of this is Jing Orange Okra. And I actually have some babies to show you. These are the little okra babies. You'll see those. All right, I'm in the South, and generally speaking, okra is a pretty popular vegetable down here. And I know I have friends up north, and they're like, no, I don't even know what that is. I don't want it. A lot of times, people that say they don't like okra, they don't like the slimy part that's inside of okra. It's called mucilage, and it's actually really, really, really good for your gut health. And so, I personally just love it. But usually okra haters, they don't like that slimy texture of the mucilage inside the okra. And a lot of times you can kind of do away with a little bit of that if you fry it, or put it in soups and that kind of thing, because you don't notice it as much, but you're still getting that health benefit from the okra. Here, these are a little shorter, but these are the Jing Orange Okra. I'm sorry guys, these are the green okra plants that I had purchased from the greenhouse. And these are the orange ones that I sowed from seed. They're all doing good. These have to grow up a little bit more, but it's starting to get hot, so whenever it really gets in the dog days of summer, quote, quote, that's when okra kind of takes off. This mystery tomato plant is doing good. It's bearing a ton of fruit. Not ripe yet. This one is doing good. This one is a little, it's got to be either a grape tomato or currant, something like that, because they're very small. My carrots are still holding on and they're still going strong. They haven't went to flower just yet, but I'm thinking about going ahead and ripping them up. I did sow more carrot seeds all in through different places in the garden. There's some beets that I sowed there. This here is the cantaloupe vine, which, I mean, all these flowers should end up being cantaloupes, but I've not seen any melons just yet. So notice that they take a little bit to just kind of come into maturity. And then down here, if y'all see these little seedlings, these are watermelons that I sowed in to go along with the cantaloupes. Over here, these green beans on this trellis are doing great. They are majestic almost. Like, y'all see those red flowers? They're so gorgeous, and it has almost started wrapping around the trellis, which is awesome. That's exactly what I wanted. I was waiting on these forever to sprout, but that looks like maybe it's gonna do something. It feels like they're taking forever to actually make beans. They're just making all these beautiful flowers. Though I would love to see some beans at some point. Over here behind the cantaloupe, I have this corn, and y'all, it's getting so tall. I don't have any ears forming yet, but these plants they look like they're very healthy, and so hopefully they will be fruitful. I've never grown a ton of corn, and so we'll just have to see, but the plants look good. And then of course down here, all these are peppers, and I haven't seen any fruits yet except for the bananas. The banana peppers are doing awesome. Like, these babies just came on and then boom, they started growing. They're fast. When they go, they go. And so we'll be picking banana peppers pretty soon. I want to let them get a little bit bigger than this though before I pick them. And then we'll come back around. Oh, look at that squash. All right, so I told y'all before about this squash. My intent was to plant the squash and run it up around the trellis because I thought that'd be beautiful. That's actually, in hindsight, a pain in the butt. So this squash has decided it wants to just fall over the side of the bed, which is fine. It's doing good as far as producing. Over here on this side of the tomato bed, y'all, I think my tomatoes are trying to play a game with me. I keep seeing all these people on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff, and they're posting pictures of their beautiful red ripe tomatoes. And mine are just here and green, like still green. So I'll show you my green tomatoes again this week, and hopefully next week maybe they won't be so green. I mean, they're loaded. The vines are full of fruit. And I think whenever we can finally pick them, they're gonna be amazing. It's just getting there. You guys see that? Blossom Enrot. I gotta come through with some calcium. Blossom Enrot can also come from weird watering patterns, and we just had a huge storm after being dry for a week. We had a really big storm yesterday, and it just poured down rain, and so maybe that weird watering has something to do with it, although tomatoes always need calcium, so I don't think it's going to hurt them if I just come through with a little bit. I don't see any of the rest of them doing it. These, look at that. These still have some growing to do. I mean, usually, these are the German Johnsons. And typically speaking, whenever I've had a German Johnson tomato, they've been like as big as your hand, like cover a slice of bread sized tomatoes. And I don't have tomatoes that big on these vines yet. And I don't know if that's just because they're not done yet, or maybe they need more food, I don't know. But I'm just continuing to watch them. And then, you look how big my basil plant is. It's so big. And that just comes from coming out here every so often and harvesting. Hey, Cole. What are you doing? You want to help me water the garden? We're not going to water it just yet. Do you want to help me pick some basil? Here. You want to pick some? You can just pull the top off. So easy a kid can do it. All right, can you hold on to that? Right here.
Ah, this smells so good.
It does smell so good.
My bird should eat these. They love these.
You gonna feed it to the chickens?
Yeah.
Y'all, these kids love these chickens. Like, they love these chickens more than they love their dogs, which to me is surprising, but they really, really do. Back to the garden. This is the eggplant that is starting to set flowers, so that's really exciting. I thought that eggplant would trellis. That is not trellising. And so, lesson learned. This is my first year planting eggplant, so it's all good. This here beautiful thing going all the way over my trellis now is the Armenian yard-long cucumber, if she will ever produce. Let me tuck that in there. There are plenty of flowers, and the bees are in and out trying to help pollinate. See? Hello. I just don't see any fruit yet. And then over here on this other tomato bed, and then down here, we do have a few ripe sun golds. This plant is setting a lot of fruit on each cluster. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pop these off. I'll wait for the rest of this cluster to finish ripening. And then when that gets done, I'll just break this whole little piece off so that the plant can continue to put its energy in up that stem. Like, there's another one. There are tomatoes everywhere, like I said, but good gracious, that thing is getting huge, y'all. Look how big that is. That's gonna be a Cherokee purple tomato, which cat face between like 3 different tomatoes. Whenever it gets ripe. I'm telling you, these tomatoes are messing with me. And then I think the only thing I haven't shown you today is this, the cucumber trellis that's over here at the back gate. All in here, these are all like pickling cucumbers. Not setting fruit just yet, but they have started flowering. So I can show you that. There's some flowers, which will be, look, that will be little cucumbers. Oh, that's so exciting. This plant is not a natural climber, I don't guess. It just kind of wants to flop around and do whatever. But if you just coax it up the trellis instead of letting it go like I did, it will start climbing because it does have tendrils. And so those little tendrils will start wrapping around just like the rest of them. I think this is so cool. The way that these plants can do this. They make these little arms and they just wrap around and hold on tight. It's starting to go up the fence a little bit. I'll probably try to get that off the gate, but anyway. And then on the other side of that, I have some more seedlings. These are all going to be little baby cucumbers. I said all the way through here And so eventually they'll all start coming up. And then on the other side of that is the cosmos, which I've never grown cosmos before. I know that these flowers can get about 3 to 4 feet tall. Not sure if I sowed them at the right time. And not sure if they need any special nutrition. Right now they're just not doing anything other than being green. This is my first year ever really trying to mess with flowers and realizing the importance of the flowers in the garden. To me, that was, I guess, something that I was missing before when I had my gardens that was just like tilled vegetable gardens. I had flowers around the house, but not in the garden. And I have learned this year that the value of having flowers that pollinators will come to, like, it's priceless in your garden. And so I encourage you, if you're not already planting some kind of flowers, you don't have to have a lot, but put some kind of flowers in your garden so that these pollinators will come and kind of do their thing with all your plants. Plus, they're just really beautiful. I come out just about every day just to look at these zinnias because they're gorgeous. And typically speaking, zinnias are like a cut flower, so I could cut them and put them in a vase on my table in the house or something, but I just don't have the heart to cut them. I don't want to remove them from the garden. They're just gorgeous. That would probably be just as beautiful on my table, but I don't have the heart to cut them. So I think that's it for this week's garden tour. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. If you want to head on over to Instagram, I'm trying to do a few different things over there and make the posts more valuable and more interesting. And I put a lot more like tips, tricks, recipes, like with the zucchini bread. Y'all, I will post at the end of this video a picture of my harvest. On Tuesday, I came out right before we got that really torrential downpour rain. And we dug up the potatoes and we harvested squash and zucchini because I didn't want the rain to like just drown them out. And there was a zucchini plant. Y'all, I'm in this garden like every day. I didn't even know that thing was there, and it was huge. It actually ended up making enough shredded zucchini for like 5 loaves of zucchini bread. So I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I will post that picture, and if you head over to Instagram, same thing, Magnolia Grove Homestead. You'll be able to get the recipe for zucchini bread that I used, as well as all the tips for like squash bugs and a lot of different things. Thank y'all for hanging out. Have a good day. God bless.